along and collect some of most problems affecting children in the community. Like the most challenging part of it is whereby you've heard the case of a 2-year-old girl who was killed by a father and burned. So it's so feeling, it's so sad for me as having a passion in children, and I cannot speak up. So it's upon me now to go up and join hands together with the society and see what are we doing to eradicate this issue and condemn this act in the community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So now we want to get down to business, and when we have any form of violence, is that those who are affected the most are women and children. Why? Because children are so defenseless and they depend on defense from other quarters. So when we want to look at children's right and how they can be protected from any form of harm, what are we talking about? When we talk about child protection, children's rights, what are we talking about? Can you briefly tell us about that?
Okay, about child protection, there are some of the forms of where you, as a right, the child is entitled to have a right. Okay, as we talk about the child protection, there are some of the things we need to consider. Rights of children are so many, and we need to exercise in our community, like right to life. Right to life means you need to make sure that somebody who is born in our society, they need to live. Another one, we have also right to educate. A child born need to be educated in one way or another. And so also right to basic needs. We have the child needs to be given basic needs like food. They need to be given shelter and also clothing. So those are some of the things we need to make sure that the child in the community is safe in one way or another, like also right to have security. Remember, there are some of the children facing challenges in so many areas, like the bandit area. There are so many children, those children in the bushes, they are facing so much problems in terms of security. So we want to, as a society, how can we solve those cases affecting these children in one way or another? Thank you.
And now, perhaps also this will also go to you, especially to the organization that you have. When you look right now, when you're talking about the rights of children, is that in some places we've witnessed a lot of instances where we feel that these children are deprived of their rights, like the Wharton places in Baringo North, in Tiachi, in parts of South, and other places within the country. Some places children do not have access to food, access to education, access to good health. So you as an organization, what do you do, and what is your appeal to everybody who is a stakeholder and everybody who is supposed to take part in ensuring that children's rights are well protected and even the existing laws are implemented to the latter?
Okay, most of the cases children are facing, there are so many. Maybe the case of killing, justice for children has to be seen. Like the one I've said about the 2-year-old girl who was killed. So justice to be seen for that child. And also the cases for these children, when children are not safe in the place they are, they need to be rescued in one area, in some other areas. Like in the areas of the bandit, you never know where are these children. I can request the government to identify all those children who are affected in one way or another. You may find the parents died, and you may know how can these children be seen and to be rescued in an area. So as my organization, I build the government, maybe could be look for an area whereby these children are safe, to be given shelter, to be given clothing, to be given education, because every child needs to be educated to see a bright future. So for me, as one of the organization, I request a rescue center. A rescue center maybe in I can say from Saimasoy location, and also the Saimak Saraman ward, maybe one of the rescue center to be constructed in one way or another. That's an emergency, so that we can collect all those children who are affected in one way or another. I know they have so many problems in the villages. Maybe some are in the bushes, and you may know how they are feeling. So as the government itself, I can say they can be collected, they can identify all those children and put in one area, and we can come together and save the life of these children in the Republic of Kenya.
Thank you very much. Now, I know also there's a lot of difference in terms of having rescue centers and also ensuring that these rescue centers can also offer the best services to these children. I want to give a good example. We've also had quite a number of children's home that play an important role in ensuring that the children who do not have these accesses, who do not have families, can also have proper services, can have these rights. But in most instances, you found that the children who are there cannot have cannot have good food. The children who are there cannot even have proper education. Now, when we are forming this, what is your plea also to, I know you understand quite a number of the children's home that we have. We've listened to their plea, their cries most of the time. Annually, they cry. They don't have money to take their children to school. Yet at the same time, we also have departments both at the county and at the national level that are supposed to deal with the matters of children. So what is your call? What are we supposed to do? Even at the point, yes, we want to have a rescue center, but the existing ones, are they well supported?
Okay, about the rescue centers, I can say we have some few rescue centers, maybe in the other end of Fortiat. I can understand about the children's home near Kabarnet town, but it is far. I am talking about the Bandit. I'm not much about the Bandit area, but as we talk about the Bandit, that's an emergency because the rescue centers are far. So I can say maybe the safe area of Sambisoy, and also maybe in the same area of Simon Saraman Ward, whereby it is safe and it is near the town, whereby these children can access to food, they can access
due to maybe some circumstances, people have kept quiet. Yeah.
And also, perhaps also, Felicitas, I'm also going to give you this opportunity. You also tell us that while discharging your mandates, what are these challenges? What are these challenges that you've gone through in the process of ensuring that these children have access to these basic rights? And also, what is your call to other stakeholders? What is your call to the community? What is your call to the government in ensuring that you are also given the right support as you discharge your mandates?
Okay, I said I graduated in 2012 in Moi University, and since then I've never secured any job. And in the year 2016, I did an interview about coordinators in ECD. I had to get chance to get the job, but it just faded. I never secured that job. Okay, since then I never had any job until 2018 when I left the teaching. And before after venturing to business, there is this issue whereby I just say, why not children? And remember, I interrupted.
Sorry to interject, please. Tell us, what is this thing that happened? What is this thing that happened that pushed you to venture into business and finally to come up with Total Way to Africa?
Okay, I ventured to business, but it was not my passion. When I was in business, there is something telling me, why not children? I had to come up with books I read about children. And when I remember the first research I did, it was the year 2005 about children with special needs. That's the time now I interacted with children. I went to children's home, I remember. I went to deaf and blind. I interacted with this young, the disabled children. That's the time now I feel trapped in these young children. I visited homes of children with special needs. That was the time now I saw that these children are suffering the community. In this case, you may find mothers having these special children. They are hiding in their houses. So that was my feeling, and so it was so hurting. It was so sad to see these young kids. They are being kept inside their houses without even bringing them outside for the sun. So I did my research, and when I pursued my degree, I also did a research on children, more of special needs, and had much learning about these young children, that they are facing so many challenges in the community. You may find these children like children with the one which is worst is the defilement. This is the worst form of abuse, which they cannot, the parents could not say about it. They cannot speak about it. The society cannot speak about it. And when it is done, the defilement is done, there is nobody who can come up and say this thing needs justice. So that one was my bill. That was something which made me to do something and say why these children are abused in the community. And as you understand about children, a child is somebody who about the theory. We have a theory called, I cannot understand much about that one, but a child's mind is a tabula rasa. A child's mind is a tabula rasa, whereby it's an empty vessel, whereby if a child is brought in a community, a child is born, you may find his mind is empty. So it's upon the community to impute good things or bad things in his mind. So as this child grows, you may find it's affected in one way or another. So it's upon the parent, it's upon the community, it's upon the society to see if this child could be growing in a better way, in a bright future. So that's why I want to urge the community or the society to help these children grow in a better way, to have a bright future and a successful future in life.
Thank you very much. Now, I would want us to graduate a bit, having talked about, having looked at the foundation of this child, that now we've had people who have not experienced proper exposure to the rights of children. And we want to look at these people and what they experience. What does it mean that The issues to do with mental health are some of the things that we are experiencing currently, and they are at an alarming rate. And it's one of the things that we are scheduled that we are going to talk about. So right now, we really want to talk about this thing because it's something that right now is raising concerns from all quarters. It's something that we all need to talk about. It's something that everyone has a stake, and we actually have to talk about. And to unpack what mental health is and the forms of mental health is, I want to invite Victor Kangogo to tell us what is mental health, and when we talk about mental health, what are these forms of mental health? Victor.
Thank you very much. I was a bit curious to understand more about the child rights. It's been an educative moment, and I want to say thank you to Madam Felicitas for actually enlightening what a child needs to know, how a child is supposed to be brought up. In regards to the issue of mental health, you know, when you talk about mental health, it is all over. It is anything that it is affecting us. Mental health is all about the issue of the well-being of the state of the mind. Mental health is something that needs to, it's actually a fundamental issue from childhood, adolescent through to adulthood. So it is something that basically it is us. It is, mental health is something that it is not imposed. It is something that we will find, it is a state of the mind. These are issues like mental health, causes of mental health. It could be like maybe prolonged stress, depression, overthinking a lot for a long time. And these are issues that we face daily, but so easy to control, but not so easy to manage. Very easy to control, but not so easy to manage. Like depression. Depression, causes of depression. You know, prolonged stress leads to depression, and it graduates to suicidal. It graduates to something else. So how do we gap the difference between the two, depression and stress? How do we bring down? How do we control? These are measures that if you look at mental part of the brain, the growth of mental part of the brain, it starts from childhood. So whatever you feed in that brain graduates to adulthood. So we tend to blame what is happening right now. How imperative is it that we are hearing about a 20-year-old committing suicide? At some point, it could be a family issue. It could be stress from home. These are issues that maybe family or maybe parents or just straight at home. These are issues that we can control. We realize that our kids commit suicides. Some are into drugs, and we blame them. We blame peer pressure. Personally, I don't want to go in that direction. I want to say this is an issue about the development part of the brain. Maybe Mwalimu can tell us more on that. But for me, I still believe, like, if we manage the mental growth of a child to adolescent through to adulthood, chances of avoiding the very, very serious issues and grievous issues that we are undergoing now, like suicidal, is very high. We will avoid them. But now the parents have left our kids. They are themselves the orchestrators of this menace. So first, if we need to come up with a solution on the same, we need to reduce the luxuries that we are showing our kids. We need to reduce the issues that we are exposing to them. There's a lot of exposure. But nowadays, we also need to monitor ourselves, because there is social culture change. There is the change that it is a must. If you can't change, it is automatically going to change you. So the social media, the internet, for us that we've done cybersecurity, we will tell you more about PII, the personal identification of an individual, that it can easily be stolen from you, and someone can manipulate, you see. So those are some of the issues these people get into internet most of the time. When you guys are playing, maybe someone else is enjoying a football match, maybe somewhere. Our kids, or maybe the guys of my generation, basically what they do, they are in internet. They are spoiling themselves. Now, how can you mitigate, how can you control a pressure that a 20-year-old has been piling from Form 1 through to Form 4? How can you control that? How? Maybe Mwalimu can tell us, because growth of a child starts from maybe nursery school up to the other side. Maybe she can expound more. But what I know is mental health is about us. Don't live beyond your means. Don't overstep your lens. That is the first thing. If a circumstance is forcing you to do something, talk about it. Tell someone, I'm having a problem. You see, by you sharing, the first thing that you are doing to yourself is you are winning it. The best thing that you can do right now is to win yourself, to conquer yourself. It is not about conquering the world. It is not all these things. The solution is not maybe in books. The solution is not in maybe securing a job. The solution is in yourself, by winning and conquering yourself, learning how to control yourself. First step. As it graduates, you are also graduating. You know how to mitigate the measure. You know how to mitigate the pressure. Yeah.
Now, I wanted us, perhaps also it is very important for us to fully understand what we are talking about. And according to Kenya Mental Health Policy 2015-2030 is that in our country, we have between 20 to 25% of people who go seeking primary health care have portrays some symptoms of mental illness as one. Number two is that globally, according to WHO report, is that for us in Kenya, we are ranked 4th in Africa in the countries that experience that people have depression, about 1.9 million people. Now, because you are here, Felicitas, what do we do so that we mitigate this at an early stage? What do we do so that we do not have our children graduating into that stage with such kind of symptoms? Because it's something that we really need to talk about. I think also it's a moment for you. You tell us, what do we do? How do we talk about this to our children so that we don't have an adulthood that is filled with suicidal cases?
Okay, I will say, thank you. About children and mental health, it is in one area. You may find the foundation of child. I was saying about this child is when this child is born, it is an empty vessel. It is you, the community, to impute knowledge. So as these children grow, that's why when these children grow, they need to grow and they need to be protected in one way or another. You may find children in the community left by the parents. Maybe the parents are fighting. Maybe domestic violence in the community. The parents are fighting each and every time. And the child is affected in one way or another. Take, for example, that child, maybe the parents fight at night, and tomorrow you send that child to school. Maybe in class, you may identify that this child could be having a problem in one way or another, because you as a teacher, you can see if the lesson is on, you may find the child is crying. You may find someone could be, another child could be even looking outside. So as a teacher, that time you may identify the child and call. And maybe sometimes if you call that child, sometimes anasema no, the parents are fighting at night and so blah blah. So those children, as they grow, you may find will be affected in one way or another. There is something called synapse in their child's mind. We have nerves. And when these children face so many problems in their lives, they prune one by one. As the child grow up and as they grow up, you may maybe today you may find the child is mtu ana abuse mtoto anasema mbwa wewe. No, so those kinds of things, the child can be uproot their mind, prune their nerves in the brain. As the child grow, step by step, you may find this will be affected in one way or another. So the mental health, as each child go to maybe the teenage area, maybe 18 years, 15 years, you may find the child could be having go to drugs, some go to the cigarettes. You may find maybe some could even leaving school, some could be even committing suicide. So you cannot say it's just a start from maybe the age of 15. It can be from the childhood stage.
Thank you very much. Now, there is also another angle that I want us to look at this. A report says that in Kenya, we lose about 311 people every year through suicide. These are young people between the age of 15 to 24. And in these 311 people, 71 are women and 240 are men. I would want Victor to talk to these men. What is really happening to the boy or to the boy child? How can we avoid this? Because the number is triple, actually over triple the number of women who die out of suicide.
Excessive pressure. That is excess pressure. Let's not lie about that. That is excess pressure. People want to live beyond their means. People exercise some freedoms in a disorderly manner. Secondly, I based my argument earlier before on parenting. You know, the way you bring up a kids. How sad is it that now we have a parent, let's say for example a mother, still sharing bed with a boy in grade 7. What sort of state of mind is that? If this is the trend, then be rest assured that in the next 15 years of that life of that child, this kid will be growing knowing that there is life beyond the gender. The absurd part of it is that children in grade 7 know what is sex, right? Let's be sincere. She's a mother. She can tell you that is the truth. We have got mothers who are still sharing the same beds with their kids at the age of 8 to 10 years. What does that mean? How can you share a bed with someone who knows what is sex? And it is happening. So you subject your kid to trauma, emotional torture, affecting the mental thinking of the kids. When they go to school, he or she has known the difference of the sex organs that they possess, right? Let's be factual. These are issues that people don't want to talk. Allow me to just say it. It happens. If you are a mother, your child is 10 years, you are still sharing bed with that boy, then do not be surprised at the age of 12 or 15 years, the boy can impregnate a girl. Don't be surprised. So we are here lamenting and maybe complaining that, oh, mtoto yangu. It is you. That is the first issue. I have only said my personal view in regards to the growth of a boy child or a girl child. So whatever we are seeing now about suicidal issues, young boys are traumatized, they are into drugs, Some of them cannot even sleep without taking alcohol, right? They are there. First thing that we need to put into our mind is, how did I raise my child? How? So once we get an answer of that, then you will know why your child has been expelled from Form 2 through to Form 4. And by the time this kid is finishing Form 4, the chances of him committing suicide is at 90%. Because he or she has been undertaken through a lot of challenges. You subject him to trauma, stress, and pressure that he cannot handle at a young age. Secondly, let us also bring into perspective the issue of peer pressure. Let us digest about peer pressure. It is not going to affect you if you aren't in social media, if the parent cannot provide the bundles, if the parent cannot provide the phone. All those things are channeled to the culture of suicide. It is now becoming a culture. And we need to adjust so soon, because one, the old and the young are affected at an equal rate. So the sooner we fight it, the better. Yeah.
One thing also that I would want to understand now that also we have Felicitas here is that we've looked at the number. We are having the disparity between the feminine and the masculine gender. So I would want Felicitas to tell us, what is it that the feminine gender is doing right that that the masculine gender also needs to employ? Because when you look, 71 ladies versus 240 men. So that is a huge difference. So what is it that the feminine gender is doing right that you feel that also the masculine gender is supposed to employ?
Okay, about masculine gender, it is male.
Yes.
Okay. I can say maybe, these children, about the mental health, I can say it starts from the childhood. It is the environment where the child is living, and it's much of parenting. So as these children, maybe for the boy child, there is a way of maybe Victor will tell us how can we bring up the parenting of the boy child could be much different from the parenting of the girl child. Could be different in how to handle.
No, it is not different. Let me interject. One, if growth and development of a mental part of a child cut across from childhood to adolescence. There is a way that we need to understand the society. I want to bring to your attention about rural to urban migration. Now you are experiencing. You were thought long time ago. You are now experiencing the disadvantage. There are advantages of coming to town. There are advantages of being in town, but there are also its own disadvantages. The disadvantages is this ratio. The ratio. How many women are we losing every day to singlehood? If a boy aged 12 to 15 years is still sleeping with the mother. And remember the biological call of nature of a boy very early in the morning, what normally happens. And he's sleeping with the mother. What are you telling us? So you see, you are giving us problem. Don't give us problem by telling us there is difference between the growth of a young girl and a young boy. If the boy can erect early in the morning, and not unless these women will tell us, we needed to see how the boy is erecting, or maybe he has some disorder. At the age of 5 years and above, that child needs to be separated. That boy needs to be separated automatically. then you can monitor from his own room, so that this boy will grow to be a man that, oh, so I am separate from the other gender. That is discipline, character. How can you nurture someone that you just share the same room, and the boy is just looking at the panties all around? Let's be factual. This is human beings, and the way you are growing with the child, you are growing older. The boy is also growing. No one is growing there to be insane. You should also watch how your kids are growing. In 15 years, let me just ask you a question. Felicitas is here. In 15 years, and your boy has started like, he's seen all around, going to night geishas and maybe like, I'm going to church. And then if you try to track the movements of the kid, he is with young girls. You will come and blame us saying, oh, my son has finally put somebody's daughter in the family way. Who is going to carry the burden? It is you. So parenting, to me, is a major issue. Serious issue that needs to be highlighted both locally and internationally, so that when we release even our kids to go outside where we are, they can be responsible enough to understand that now I am of this age and this is what I need to behave like. You get that? Mm-hmm. So that we don't find ourselves losing a lot of women into singlehood. They cannot be married. Some guys will be running up and down saying, I cannot marry someone with +1. So when you are making merry and sitting down with a beautiful girl along your side, the abnormal happened, which in your mind was normal, right? And something happened. As somebody's daughter is pregnant, she delivers, you end up running away. Who are you leaving the burden to? So that one, I can tell you for a fact, foundation dictates how that kid was raised. It dictates how the journey is going to end.
Thank you very much. There is also something that I feel that it's a mystery that we need to demystify. When we look also in terms of age bracket, those who are affected, if a person aged 30 years and above commits suicide, we may have excuses. We may say that perhaps this person cannot feed his family, perhaps this person has family wrangles, perhaps also this person cannot pay rent, so forth, so forth, so forth. But now, a person aged between 15 and 24 years, what is this thing that is exerting too much pressure on them that they feel that the only way out is to squeeze life out of them? What is this that can kill these young people who do not have more responsibilities, and cannot kill people who we feel that are overburdened by what is happening within our society?
Toro,
yes.
Allow me to demystify.
Yes.
Let me bring facts to the table. 24 years, someone commits suicide. One, don't you think this person needs to live large and he or she cannot manage to sponsor that lifestyle? If a 24-year-old can commit suicide, maybe he or she doesn't have responsibility, right? Mm-hmm. This person stays at home. He or she doesn't have rent issues, school fees. First thing tells you is, one, peer pressure from outside, right? The peer pressure from friends. You see, do not be killed by, if you see someone driving a Range Rover at the age of 25 years old, don't kill yourself because you are not driving. Don't. That is where we are. That is the sad state of life. So we are not complaining so much about the suicidal issues. We are only complaining about living a life that it is not yours. fake life that you cannot finance. How can you live a life that you want someone else to finance that life? You want to be spending time in Diani. You want to be traveling to Nairobi, fly 540. You don't have money. So you are relying on someone to give you the money. Don't cluster yourself to a level that you cannot be. Just move at your base. We will be reducing all these issues, my friend. You cannot, you are just a Form 4 leaver and you want iPhone 15. Who is going to buy you? Your father is struggling with Techno, come on 15. You want iPhone. So it takes you back again to parenting. If your child can come home with iPhone 14 and you are not asking, where did you get? And you know he or she does not have a job. You are not asking your child, where did you get? This is 100,000 phone. It is worth everything that is inside the house, including the sofa set and the TV. And you are happy smiling. So tomorrow you will be told your child has just committed suicide. Amerukia cheploch pale ndani. Imagine baby. Because he or she could not afford beyond what the sponsor did. That is the issue behind. Unless someone else tells me something else. But someone who lives beyond his life, I cannot go there.
Perhaps also there are two questions that I would also want Felicitas also to help us. Number one, at what age do we have to teach our children not to measure the value of life with material possessions, that in their absence a person feels that the only solution is to kill him or herself? And also number two, help me also understand that at some point also our parents also putting so much pressure on our children. One, career wise, what do parents mean when they tell their children that career is not marketable? And number two, when they ask the children, when they bring their spouses or the people they want to marry home, and they ask them, what do they have, wako na nini, what do they mean? Is it also not a pressure to the children?
Okay, for the children, when these children grow to be an adult, it is upon the child or the adult, but the child is 18 years or 20 or 25, and when a child says, I want to marry so and so, it's not upon the parent to say, no, it's not this one, it's not so and so. So let the child choose for himself or herself, because it's its own lover, and it's not the parent to decide for his child. Because when you say it's so, don't do it, you may find some children, some maybe could go and kill themselves because of that maybe idea from the parent. Another one could be the one for education or the profession. A child could say, I want to be a teacher, and the parent say, no, you go for a doctorate. So it's as a parent, can we go and let the child choose for himself or herself? Because as his child go and choose the course, you are saying go for doctorate, go for medicine. You may find you cannot feel good. After even graduating, she can say this certificate is for my parent. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know if you have something you want to add, Victor.
I only gave my perspective, and I feel like if that is taken into consideration, it is going to bring some impact. So be it as it may, parenting, yes, that is it. Otherwise we're going to lose many to suicidal cases. First, let's agree, we've experienced a lot of challenges in regards to, for the past 2 to 3 months, we've been hearing about suicidal cases, some accidents as a result of drug, alcohol. So we are going to lose them many because one, we've got pressure. Someone needs to drive like person X. You are not going to drive. Someone says, I need to put on some shades like for MC Toro. Yeah, I need to put on those shades. I want to see how I look like in shades, or maybe in spectacles. If a parent cannot question the lifestyle of the kids, who are we going to blame? Is it the kid or is it the parent? You are sharing the same compound and this person is driving. You know he or she doesn't have a job. Where does she get the money? Is this kid a drug dealer? Or what religion is this person in? What are you subscribing to? Short-lived. Some will say, I want to live large in a short time. So if that is so, we are going to lose money. Get ready. But the discrepancy in all this issue is one, parenting. That is the primary factor. You need to ask your child, where are you getting iPhone 14? Some will even be importing, my friend. We are losing our kids into some religion, some cult of some sort. And then their life is cut short because of lifestyle. Airbnb, 20 years, 25 years. What were you doing there in the first case? So you're living large, you're sending money home, you're driving, you don't have a job, or maybe you're a university student, and the parent, he's busy sourcing for land to develop as a result of the money that you're sending home. We will lose money.
And now, because we are already there, and we want now to highlight a few challenges that we are facing, because it's something that we need to deal with. And according to reports, is that one of the biggest challenges in trying to deal with issues of mental health, number one, is that poor diagnosis. That's number one. And number two also, lack of health services, especially to those who are affected. I was looking at the report that we have around 100 psychiatrists and around 400 psychologists countrywide dealing with all the population that we have. Now, if you have, for example, 100 psychiatrists, and if we were to talk even with a population of around, let's say even 45 million, means that we are talking at a ratio of 1 to 450,000. That is a huge number. So, going forward, what do you think that we should do so that we help those who are already affected? That is just one example of the challenges that we are facing. What do we do as a country so that we save those who are affected? Putting in mind right now that we have a lot of things that are pushing people also to be affected. The issues to do with the economy right now, the rising cost of living, everything. What do we do?
Okay, about how can we eradicate that issue of mental health? You may see, maybe there are some of the factors, adding what Victor said, about this problem could be also matter of medication or maybe healthness of the child. You may find a child maybe was maybe attracted to, maybe contracted to HIV. So that one could be much major factor. So in this case, maybe could be some, maybe the background of the child. Maybe the child is seeing so and so is much of educated than her, than him, or so. So some the things which can say you can let this now child to accept who is he. Maybe you can put an awareness in the community. You can educate in areas of maybe understanding self or self, that even you can be achieve something in future, and you can be a successful person in future. So in these areas of maybe you can identify all those children, all those persons who have this problem in mental health, and then you can have something like educate them in one way or another, so that they can be able to bring their minds back, and they will be able to be a good citizens in future. So for the government could be, and the one for the medication, you can, no, for the mental health, you can maybe take to hospital for medication. And if could be something like about HIV positive person, you can cancel that person and you can tell him you can still survive in one way or another. And those are some of the areas maybe you can help these people to now to come out from this mental health.
Something to add on, Victor?
Probably we're discussing about how to reduce the issues to do with mental illness. One, we talked about trauma, we talked about stress. How do we control? First, it might not be so much into medication. It is about controlling. You're getting it? Because if something has been disturbing you for quite some time, it doesn't require tablets. It doesn't require a doctor to prescribe. It is only about you sharing the problem and controlling that problem. Because it is going to be a mental issue if it prolongs. Unaelewa? If it prolongs some point, inakuwa mental issue. So do we need to go to hospital because of mental illness or mental wellness, if someone can put it? No. Yes, at some point, but you need to share the problem so that it can be controlled. Secondly, there is a prevention. You can prevent someone from trauma, right? Yeah, you can prevent your children from undergoing a certain pressure or trauma by distinguishing yourself from the high speeds and moving fast vehicles. If I'm supposed to be going to Nairobi and I need to be in Nairobi in the next 1 hour, definitely I'll use a flight. But what is my capacity? The capacity dictates. So if a parent saying, I'm going to educate my children at Kabarak University or maybe Kabarak High School, from Kabarak Primary all through to university, right? Someone else can decide so. So don't kill yourself because yours have not even gone to Sacho or Kabarak High School. Just take them to Pemwai, where your pocket can afford. At the end of it all, you will be controlling that pressure. You will be actually preventing your children from that trauma. Those are some of the issues. And also government have a role to play by also supporting the parents. Yeah.
And now perhaps now also there is something that I wanted also us to talk about, that is in terms of addressing this issue in terms of resources. Like we said, that it's something that is affecting quite a number of Kenyans. And what we want to do is that another challenge that we have is that poor funding. And when we talking about poor funding, we do not even have resources that are allocated to Department of Mental Health only. It is merged with other departments that makes it so hard to operate, because without resources these departments cannot discharge its duties so well. That's number one. Number two, also in terms of as a society, those who are affected majority are the young people. What happens when we have a huge number of those who are graduating annually without employment? This person that the parents have sold nearly all the cows or the land to ensure that the person goes to school and tomorrow does not give back to the same family, the same society, what is going to happen? Recently you saw the number of those who finished Form 4 versus the number of those who are absorbed to join universities. These are the huge junk that has expectations of going to the university and did not go, probably because we only have few slots that are available. Who will talk to them? What do we tell our colleagues, the young people, so that they do not give up?
Okay, for the young people who are saying there is no job, yes, there is no job in Kenya, the way you, so I can urge the youth, if you have something you may go even for land. You can plan. You can even go for something like something which can maybe can bring income to your house. And what I'm telling you, especially the youth of 30 and below, those are some of the youths who cannot even protect these children in the society. They are just bearing these children and then leave them, and then leave them to the grandparents. So what I'm urging youth, in order to, because these youth they are not already married. I know they are already married and they have children. So what I'm telling the youth, if you have these children and you have brought these children to the world, can you ensure that these children eat? They should have shelter and they should have clothing. And if you know that you have these children, you need to wake up. Don't say I don't have a job. Don't say no, I'm not employed, I cannot handle this kid. Make sure that you go out, go for something which can bring. You have hands, you can walk. You have eyes, you can see. You have ears, you can hear. So do anything which can help you to produce income that can help the society and also help this young generation to grow up.
Thank you. Yes, Victor.
If you say there is no job, it's like you're also pushing them to depression, because most of them are fighting to come out of colleges. There are people who are not living in the real life. The first we kill expectation versus reality, the sooner we adjust. We might say the number of admissions to universities was slightly lower or higher this time around. We are going to leave a number of them maybe for middle and tertiary colleges and maybe some to different. It is the way to go. Probably we need to know that previously in my discussion I said there is something called social culture change. We need also to adapt. The other day we were talking about climate change, that it is affecting global world. There is also that social change that it is affecting human beings. So today there are jobs, tomorrow there are no jobs. Life has to continue. So we need to find a way of living. Whether you are in white collar job or in the blue collar job, we need to find a way. We need to maximize the good health. Good health is a blessing in this. These are some of the things that we needed to talk about. We needed to discuss about reduction of pressure. If you didn't maybe secure a position to join university, there is something else that you can do, right? Those who went also might rely on you, who is left behind. So the primary objective that all of us need to do is, are we teaming up in this journey? Are we racing together? Or are you fighting certain problem that we can't afford? Yes.
Well, thank you very much. Perhaps also this, I'll give this opportunity also maybe to us to probably also give our closing remarks, and we also talk to the hearts of these young people who are listening to us right now. Maybe we'll start with Felicitas. Yes, we can give our remarks as we also talk to the hearts of these young people who are listening and who are watching us live right now.
Okay, thank you for the session. I want to tell the society, let's work together and make sure that we live in protect these children in our society. Make sure that these children grow in a better way. These children need a better future, and it is for me and you to make sure that these children now grow to be a better citizens in the future. Remember, as you grow as an adult, you're once a child, and when you are once a child, it is now you to make that child prosper in life. and make sure that you transform that the lives of the little ones to be better in future.
This ought to be a closing remark from me. First, there are issues that we ought to discuss. Shaping the society is not only talking about the growth or maybe the economic status of society or maybe the country. We also need to talk about who makes the economy of the society or maybe the economy of the country. It is we. So if we don't shape ourselves, if we don't shape the way we are doing things, if we don't adjust to the circumstances that the nature is calling us to adjust to, then we are going to stagger for some time. So for us not to be left in the roundabout for quite some time, we need to discuss about gender-based violence. And in this case, in the next session, we need to discuss about the main part of gender-based violence. Men are silent, but the people who are suffering in this era and time are the men. Because if you're a woman, probably hits you with a hammer. Another man will tell you, Popo, just keep quiet, my friend. You are a man. You can't discuss this issue. I know of a story of a friend of mine. Sorry to discuss this one. Is this guy was attacked by the wife. He was taken to hospital. He has undergone 4 surgeries. He has spent more than 2 million. And the wife has been set free by the courts. Reason being, there was no proper evidence to justify the woman actually molested the man. I'm putting myself in that shoe. If it was the woman who was being hit, this guy would be rotting in jail, right? So as we talk about these things, we also need to dissect and maybe try to understand. Let's also share the common humanity in us, the love, the primary love. That is what is supposed to be discussed. Otherwise, we'll just be discussing these things and maybe we are going forward, coming back, going forward, coming back. So if we need to move together as a society, lawlessness cuts across. If you are on the wrong, you are on the wrong, whether you are a woman or man. Simple. So in the next session, in the same studio, we'll also be discussing about the gender-based violence. But this time around, we need to talk about the question of men being molested and they are silent in the same cause, so that we don't give a lot of ventilating room to the female gender. Men are also suffering. Thank you, man. Thank you for inviting me. Next time is another show. All right.
Shukran jazila, nataka kusema asante sana. Naangalia klabu za saa ni kwamba ni saa moja, ni dakika moja tu imeweza kusalia. Nataka kusema asante kubwa sana kwa wale wote ambao wameweza kutufuatilia kwenye mitandao yetu yote ya kijamii, Stream Live Avenue. Tunashukuru sana wanajopo wetu. Nasema asante sana kwa Victor Kangugo na vile vile Felistas Chepuarwa, wameweza kutubambanulia mengi kwa marefu na mapana. Tunasema asante sana, na pia wewe ambaye umekuwa ukitufuatilia kwa namna moja ama nyingine, tunasema ni asante. Na kwa yeyote yule ambaye ameweza kuathirika namna moja ama nyingine, kwa sasa tunasema sio mwisho wa maisha, ndugu yangu. Lazima tuweze kujikaza, lazima tuweze kujikakamua. Si wewe peke yako, kila mtu anapitia. Ukisikia kwamba umesukuma kwenye ukuta sana, zungumza na mmoja aliye karibu nawe na utakuwa unasaidika. Na hata baada ya hapa tutakuwa pia tunajaribu kulonga nyuma ya kamera, tuangalie kwamba tutakuwa tunasaidiana vipi, maana kila mmoja katika hii dunia Mwenyezi Mungu amempatia tija yake ambayo lazima aweze kuikamilisha pindi tu akishika ile njia ambayo inakubalika. Sio ndio? Endelea kutufuatilia, waambie jamaa na marafiki pia waweze kutufuatilia. Kwa niaba kila mmoja ambaye amekuwa nasi, hasa kwa namna ya kipekee fundi wetu wa mitambo Engineer Boni, tunasema asante. Mimi naitwa MC Toro na nakutakia jioni njema na wikendi iliyojawa na baraka tele kutoka kwa Mwenyezi Mungu. Asante na shukran jazila.